Well, the next question up is all about the Epstein business again and the birthday card release and Elaine Maxwell and things like that. So let me just read you the question sent in. This is one that's been sent in by one of our patrons. So I'm taking the questions one at a time. So this is what she has to say about this one. It says, is Trump going to survive the Epstein birthday card? The female form looks young and the secret is a little sketchy, but his signature is unmistakable. No matter how it's spun, it isn't good. And will he pardon Ghislaine Maxwell? Okay, so this is my psychic reading of the situation, as it were, and I'll give you some of my insights, maybe a few predictions as we go along as well. So, okay, so here we are dealing with a birthday card. I mean, those of you that been watching the news obviously know it's the 50th birthday card collection that was released as a batch of documents recently. Epstein killed himself, I think it was in 2019 now, but it's only just being released. Just shows how much time it takes for these things to surface. And I think this is one of the key issues with this, about what's going to happen with this, is the timing, because I feel that what's going to happen is the lawyers are going to kick this down the road and kick it down the road and down the road. And I don't think we're going to see any conclusion to any of this very soon. But obviously people are speculating about what it all means. And Trump, of course, has now filed I think it's 10 billion defamation lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal over this, and absolutely categorically denies it. So what's my feeling about it? Well, it all does look a bit suspect to me. It's almost like too much of a gift in many ways. Would Trump really be that stupid to sign something like that? It's a possibility. I mean, would Andrew be so stupid? And would recently Peter Mandelson be so stupid to get photographed with Epstein and so forth? Obviously, a lot of people are taken in. And, you think about what Epstein would have been like as a person. He kind of must have been a kind of a poisoned friend, wouldn't he? Really, he winds you in a little bit and gets you joking about stuff. And jokes can suddenly turn into a dagger that can destroy your whole career. But my feeling about the whole business is, could they prove it in a court of law? Whatever one might believe one way or the other with this, my feeling is it's not going to get through a court of law. Now, if I was a lawyer or an attorney defending or attacking this case, and we looked at the signature, the first question is going to be, is this signature real? And obviously, when we put them up and compare them to other ones that he's done, the word Donald and things like that, some of the other news outlets have gone into in great depth, there's obviously a lot of similarities, and it could quite easily have been done by the same hand. However, when you're signing with a felt tip pen, that he seems to do with this, there's no nuances in the signature that you could really say this truly identifies it as a correct signature. And particularly since the pen is sort of thicker than probably would have been used normally on his other signatures, on a smaller place like a birthday card like that, I would still highly question it if I was a lawyer. I've studied quite a bit of graphology in the past to read how you can understand a person's characteristics and personality from a signature. I used to write a lot for the newspapers, and that was one of the articles a few times that we used to write about graphology and what it meant and said about this person and that person, more of an analysis, not really a psychic thing. But nonetheless, I would think it's a very, very hard case to prove in a court of law. And this is where I think he will escape any final destructive forces from this, because he will survive it, to answer your question, because I just don't think it can be proved once you get into the court. And then how long does it take to get something into the court in the first place? Obviously, everybody's trying very hard to get it into the court. His enemies are trying to do this. But I suppose from a legal point of view, the best form of defense is attack. So you go on the attack and start suing them for $10 billion. which makes everybody sort of think twice, because we're dealing with big amounts of money here, and we've got to be absolutely sure, can we win this case? I mean, if it was me taking a signature like that into court to try to win a case on that signature, I think it would be very, very dodgy ground. So the way I see it unfolding is they'd eventually probably have to back off, because it's just not strong enough. I mean, whatever you believe, do you believe it or not, is a whole different issue. Do I feel he signed that? I think Trump can do some stupid things, like everybody can do some stupid things, and it could be genuine. The signature could be genuine, but it could easily be faked as well, couldn't it? And those words on it, wonderful secret. Trump does love that word wonderful, doesn't he? And that's a typical word I would associate with him. But that's a word that anybody wanted to fake it up would also associate it with him. So the question is, I just don't think they can prove it, right or wrongs of this case, whether he did it or he didn't. I just don't think it's provable in a court of law. I just don't feel that it'll go the distance, this. But of course, the whole big question about it is what else is there in the archives here? I've said for a long time that my feelings are that there is definitely a list of somehow. There is definitely a little black book out there. Whether it's ever going to surface or not, who knows? But my feeling is, I feel it will eventually surface. And in that little black book, there's going to be lots of names that would never have suspected. Like here in the UK now, news is breaking of Lord Mandelson, who is in the in the accusations with Epstein and so forth. Now, Lord Mandelson is part of the Labour government over here. He was also the ambassador, I think it was, to the USA. He's got all entangled in this. He's openly, he's admitted he's a gay person, for example, which is no problem. But what did Epstein have on him? Was he using him somehow? You know, what you're there in swimming trunks and a dressing gown and things like this. What went on there? And of course, Lord Mandelson also knew Lord Waheed as well, which the press haven't spoken about for some time. Was he perhaps compromised? There's nothing absolutely in the press to show that Lord Waheed was compromised at all. But how far could it spread? I mean, I'm just asking the question here. How far could it spread? How far did Epstein get his claws into people to start manipulating not just individuals, but whole governments? And I feel this is going to have some effect on the Labour government here as well. It won't be their downfall, but it will be, one more nail in the coffin with this. And of course, innocent people getting blackened by just sheer association, of course, as well. So in terms of your question on that, will the birthday card bring him down? No, I don't feel it will, because of the sheer practicalities of it. And so it don't entirely take a psychic to tell you that. But I've been seeing some of this coming, and in some of my other predictions going back, I have been saying that I feel there's a list, and there's more people in this list than we've ever imagined, and it will come out this year, which I've been speaking about too. So I think more's going to come out. Now, would Trump actually pardon Ghislaine Maxwell is the other kind of part of your question there, which I think is also interesting. Now, Trump did talk about this, didn't he? He said that he was allowed to pardon her, so he can do this. But he also added something to the effect, and he said, but nobody's asked me to do it, I think he said, which means it's almost like a threat to that, isn't it? If somebody asks me to do it, well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. This is typical Trump strategy. This idea of you don't know what I'm going to do keeps everybody at bay, which makes me think in my own mind, as it were, that there is something dodgy out there still, and he's keeping people quiet. If you say something, well, maybe I will pardon her, and God knows what that will be. It might bring me down, but it might bring the rest of you down as well, because we've always questioned who else is in there. There's obviously been question marks over the Clintons, for example. So will he pardon her? I don't think he will. certainly not in the short term. My feeling is that is what's in it for him, you know. Um, and have other deals been done in the background as well? Shut up deals, because he always likes this shut up money. We had all that before, didn't we, in the courts? And maybe there's been something done with other political people in the Democrat Party. You know, you shop me and I shop you, but it's worse for you than it is for me. I think there's a lot of that. So will he survive it, first and foremost? Yes, so far. And I think Trump's supporters will remain mainly intact over this. I don't think there'll be a major legal issue with it that will change the course of the presidency, put it that way. Will he pardon Maxwell? Well, legally it's possible to do that. And given the strong objections from the victims, mind you, the lawmakers and public opinion, it seems very improbable to me that he would be mad enough to do that. But unless there was some other political thing that came up that made it useful for him to do this, there'd have to be a major political shift of some sort. And I feel that we've only just got at the beginning of opening this Pandora's box, as it were, because I still feel there's a lot more to come, which might change the whole chess game, as it were, because that's what this is. He has no interest in whether Ghislaine Maxwell has proper freedom or justice there. It's what's in his own interest with this. You know, is there a big, wonderful secret hidden away? I think that's, I don't think there's anything that would really blacken him. That's what I've said before. But I think there's some stuff that would really blacken other people. And when I looked at Trump's Naadis all those years ago, it did say in there that there was all sorts of hidden stuff, particularly hidden sexual stuff. Maybe this is the stuff that is hidden away. So I feel there's a lot more to come with this. That eventually, I feel that black book or that list, we could call it a black book. It's almost symbolic, but it's a list. It feels like an actual physical black book to me. And I was showing that in a meditation, and I feel that will be released in due course. Not now, but I get the feeling there's something towards when we get towards the next election. I don't think it's the primaries, but I get if that's what we have again. I'm not quite sure we have primaries next time round, but the next time Trump's up for election, that's the one I feel it. There's something being released then, something that blackens the name of somebody that's standing in opposition to him. And some celebrities too that have spoken out against him. Politics is a load of dirty tricks, really, isn't it? And whatever side you're on, all sides, it all seems to be like a chess game, but a chess game that doesn't seem to take into account the people at the end of the day. You know, whoever you follow, often they so often let you down in life. And I think it's really important that, you know, as from spiritual minded people, truth is so important. I mean, this whole thing is a game of cat and mouse, and nobody ever gets to know the truth. We never really get to know the truth of most of the political challenges that have been in the world. You know, we don't really know what happened to Kennedy, do we? We don't really know what happened, even with the moon landings, come to that. So much gets covered up all the time that we're left in doubt. And where there's doubt, conspiracy theories sort of jump in, and we fantasize about what could or couldn't be, you know, when we're not given the truth. You know, a lot of you have put comments here, did Meghan Markle never had a baby, right? That's all a lie. You know, when I was talking about will she have a third baby, interesting. But of course we don't know the truth of so many things. So much is hidden from us that obviously people sit and fantasize about it and wonder what's going on. And this is ripe for that type of thing, because we just don't know the answers. And I'm sure the truth is much simpler than we imagine, and probably much muckier and dirtier than we imagine. And I feel that many people have been blackened. And come on the day when we get politicians in all countries who are voted in not because of their power or their wealth or their status as a celebrity or whatever, but we vote them in because they're people of good character. That will be the age of Kali Yuga changing into the age of Satya Yuga, they say. That will be the time when the golden age comes in, when we elect people who we elect because we know they are good people, not because they're looking after my interest or your interest or this interest. And that's why I think so often what we really need in politics is spiritually minded people. What an amazing world that would be if we had that, wouldn't it? Anyway, I've gone off course, but I hope I answered your questions there, and thank you for sending me that question in. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show this week, and thank you, of course, to all the patrons who've sent their questions in. If you want to become a patron or a YouTube member, do have a look in the description below. But of course, the big news from my point of view this week, certainly, is that this week is the launch of the new Craig's Oracle. That's an artificial intelligence oracle. You might think I've got no intelligence, and artificial version might be a bit odd, but no, we've got the AI oracle is launched, and it is really exciting. So joking aside, it's not really like a psychic. It's or a medium. I kind of explain a bit of that as you enter the site, but it does read the oracles. So it uses synchronicity. It uses all the techniques that the ancients have used, and we brought together all the ancient knowledge and all the modern AI knowledge and brought it together, and then put you in front of it, and it learns from you, and it interprets the oracles in terms of what it knows about you. So the more you work with it, the more it gets to know you and your family and your interests and all the rest of it, and it becomes quite mind-boggling, particularly as you progress with it. So have a look in the description below, and it will give you some a link to the new Craig's oracle.com, where you can learn all about this new very, very exciting new development. I don't think there's anybody out there that's done anything quite like this yet, and we're developing it all the time. So if you take out a subscription, you'll be able to come along with us on this incredible, magical and intriguing journey. Okay, well, have a look at that in the description below. And don't forget, give us that thumbs up, and have a look at some of these other videos too, because particularly if you've watched the short version of the show today, you'll be able to link on to the main show in the videos coming up on the screen now. And also you can link to the website, of course, and have a look at readings and the rest of it, and all some more background work about what Jane and I have done. So anyway, once again, thank you for joining. Thank you for giving me that thumbs up. Thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.